Thank you very much, class. Once again, you are welcome to session 3 of our sessions, and we are going to look at privacy, data protection concepts, and importance. Last week, we looked at the security side. Today, we are going to look at privacy and data protection, and to lead us to discussing the Data Protection Act of Ghana, and then next we continue with other data protection acts in other countries. I'm hoping that that we will have an interesting time in deliberation of these issues. Okay. So what are we doing? We will explore the concept of privacy in the digital age and then opposite of balancing security and privacy consideration, and then examine data protection policy, especially in line with Ghana and its relevance. Okay, that will be chapter 3. Please, I beg you, I had to move the date because of other delays, which is beyond my control, because I'm trying to get the book into the country too. So just bear with me. It's very likely that most of you will get the book almost free. Because you have been really been patient with me. Okay, so let's have it. The concept of privacy, balancing security, privacy, the data protection, and the citizen, and then Ghana's data protection act. Then next week, we can look at the one from the Europe and the other countries, and California, and whatever country that we can look into. Okay. So remember that when we began our sessions earlier, we talked about privacy being something at a personal level, where we wanted to emphasize on the right to control one's personal data and maybe data footprints and how the information is used and shared. And in the past, and those of you can remember, Facebook had this big issue where they used to give their data of users to Cambridge Analytica in UK, and they end up using it for political advertising, targeting certain people and giving them certain types of information. It costs. I think Facebook was sued by a number of institutions. I think it was also reprimanded by the European Union or the UK government, one of them. But when we met the very first day, I told you that my definition for data privacy, by looking at other definitions, was this: data privacy is an ethical and legal commitment to safeguarding personally identifiable information. Good. So when we talk about personally identifiable information, it can be an personally identified information for an employee. It can be for a student. It can be for the MD. It can be for the vice chancellor. Grounded in the B, it can also be for the president. Personally identifiable, but you see with the president, he's already a public figure, so all his information is there. But some of his information may be personal, and we have to be very careful that we don't. For example, you don't know the president's PIN number for his ATM card if he has one, or you don't even know his password for maybe his phone. Don't know. Granted, they believe that such information inherently belongs to the individual, so it belongs to the president. It belongs to you, the student. It belongs to I, the lecturer. It recognizes that an individual's right to control, determine, and restrict how and when and with whom their data is shared and communicated. Shared or communicated. So the individual reserves that right. Okay, so but to be able to let that be achieved, there has to be adherence to legal, regulatory, and ethical frameworks during the life cycle process. Okay, now why is it important? Because one, it is your right. One, it's your, but not just about it's your right. The question that comes about, what are you trying to, for example, what are you trying to protect? It may be the person's personal data or the person's trail of information he leaves on the internet, which has to do with the digital footprint. That's summation of all his information. Like you have a right to have access to who sees your pictures when you add them to Facebook. So Facebook now gives you that opportunity to say that these people cannot see these pictures, these people can see my account, or these people cannot see my account. That is the power that we want to put into the person's hand to be able to ensure privacy. Okay. Now, so it's not just about the picture, but even sometimes the path. We call that one digital breadcrumbs, which I'll talk about later. The path in which the person went to, so he clicked here, he did this, he clicked this one, second, he clicked that one. So that those patterns those clicks, that individual data points have to be it's personal to the person. And if the person is giving it out to a cost to an organization, then it has to be shown that the organization will use it in a way that will help the person. For example, when I go to Amazon, I start clicking and clicking information. It start putting and creating a profile about me, of what I like and what I don't like, or what I'm interested in and what I'm not interested in. Then data privacy is also about the method of access. Who has access and how can the person access it? Is it am I giving the person permission passively or actively? Am I allowing the person to use the information in a particular way, or I can restrict that access? Then how long does he have access to that my information? Is it infinitum, or I can restrict it to a year or month or a week? And then look, where does he have access to? So for example, when I give access to my information to be used on Google platform and I'm in Ghana, does it mean that when I go to Google, I'm in America using Google platforms, I've given access to Google USA to also use the same? Not necessarily. Not necessarily. So sometimes the information may be given to the information, access may be given to personal data based on location or based on device. But the problem we have been having is that now that we have synchronized all the devices together and you tie them by an account, as soon as you open, for example, I search for shoes to buy on Google on my phone. When I come to my desktop, as soon as what I search for shows up, because I've allowed Google and giving Google the information to create my data as a global variable. So anytime there's a Google account, it can actually use it, share the information to that Google account. One example is even iPhone. Do you know that by default, your iPhone can enable itself, is enabled that your iPhone can allow other connected devices that you are using a similar account to, like a similar is it Apple account, a similar Apple
iCloud.
iCloud code, an iCloud account to be able to behave the same way as you are behaving on your phone. An example is phone calls. You can allow other devices to pick your phone call, or the call to be transferred to other devices. So you are sitting in the house, a phone call comes, and your TV is calling. The call is seen on the TV because you have linked it to your Apple TV. The call is seen on your phone. The call is seen on your tablet, and maybe you bought a tablet and an iPad for your daughter too, but you have linked it to yourself. So the call is seen, your daughter can. It used to happen to me. I call comes, my daughter picks it up. I said, so I didn't understand it. Then I started investigating and realized that, oh, it's by default. My iPhone I'm using, I've allowed that other devices can be able to the call can transfer to other devices or can be able to be used as a secondary phone or something like that. So if I want to keep my information private and my phone call private, I have to disable it so that it doesn't transfer the calls to it. Or sometimes maybe the vice chancellor has called you and your daughter has picked up and she's even playing with it. So she's even playing with it. She don't even know, she doesn't even know what she's doing. And she may even be using it in the kitchen or some place that maybe in her toilet, and she's buried it among other babies and other babies and stuff. And the vice chancellor will ask, for what are you doing? I've seen a video of you in Babylon. So some of these things you have to be very careful what you do, what you use, how you link your data together. So are you giving permission on all your devices or a particular device? Now, some of you may have not known that these permissions that you give out, it actually goes to these why it matters dimensions. Why, what, how, when, and where. In fact, somebody can even add another one. When it's already there. Which, but the which is almost the same thing as the device I've written there. But so please, anytime you are giving permission, be asking yourself, it's your right, but what right are you giving up? Which aspect of your right are you giving up? And then what is the content of the right you're giving up? Is it the path or the substance? The substance means your pictures, your information, your friends. You know, when you somebody joins your page on Facebook, he has access to other people who have joined your page too and are following you. He can see that these are the other persons following you. So the substance that you have. then the method of access, the time, duration, and where. When I was in the US, I heard a story about this functionality is in, I think it's in LinkedIn, but it's not in Facebook. Has not enabled it in their own for everybody to see. So I was in the US, and a student was telling me about the fact that there was a lady that was working in was telling me about an experience that they had. So you're working in Facebook, and there's this gentleman who has asked you out, and you have said no. But every day that you come, the Facebook version that they use has much more detail. That's what analytics. You are able to tell that this guy has come to your page, and these are the things he viewed on your page because maybe he's a friend or a work buddy, and he went to your pictures, he looked at your pictures, and anytime you post something, the first person, even if he doesn't like, the first person to come and read it. He's able to, he went to look at your pictures, and every day he goes through your pictures, he goes through your videos, your personal videos, and the lady was feeling very uncomfortable about it. But I don't think you can do that on, you don't know who and who has visited your page, on even among the people you have allowed to join your page and follow you. You don't know how many of them are trolling you or how many of them are actually stalking you. But it actually happens. Even something that can come from an ex or even a colleague in the office or even your own boss. That is checking to see whether you share company information outside the office environments or environs. So these things was happening. The lady was very, very uncomfortable about it. So you have people who actually come in and then look at your substance of yourself. And it depends, and you are the one who creates your substance. Whatever you put online is what people end up knowing about you. Okay. So in this, there are two words that you have to be very careful about. One is the fact that the age of the internet also comes with another, in terms of privacy, two words, digital breadcrumbs and then digital footprint. The digital breadcrumbs are more about your trail of your data points, where that you leave behind when you interact with digital systems, devices, and platforms. You search for something online. It's a one data point that has come. We know that at 6 p.m., Richard searched for shoes. Why am I using shoes a lot today? Well, I'm not going to buy shoes. But Richard searched for shoes on Google. And when it came, he clicked on Neiman Marcus and went to that shop to go and look at the shoes that they have. Or he clicked on Prada and went into Prada to look at the shoes they have. So, but you see, his section is one point. If Richard has linked his information to other platforms, now it will pick that one. When he goes, Richard, in fact, if Richard has even already logged on onto his Amazon, whilst he searches, Amazon's search, and it is stored within his browser, Amazon search results for shoes also come on the side because his Amazon detail is also logged on already. This trail can be deliberate or unintentional and is often gathered without the explicit awareness of the user. This piece of data might appear inconsequential because you are looking at them individually, but when they are massed and put together, it can create a digital profile about you. So we can know something about you. Okay. So you may pick it at one step, but we keep on carrying the information from one. So like you see the picture here, the cat, at the cat you have added something to it. Then you go to the next thing, you add your billing. So each of them are individual data points, and different types of data are being layered. So at the digital breadcrumb is the trail of the different data points that you have. When we put them together and analyze them, then somebody is now trying to build a profile about you. That needs to another thing. Then they start creating more of a footprint about you. Okay. So for example, browsing history. Every time you visit a website, you leave a digital trace of the website you visited, the links you clicked. That's one data point. How long you stayed there, another data point. Okay. Social media activity, you post, you like, the post you like, then the stories you view, and the hashtags. Some people have even lost their jobs because they went to online and went to like a page of a competitor. And give comments that, oh, your car, your new car is nice. I wish I had one. But meanwhile, you work for BMW and you are liking maybe Range Rover or something. Maybe the other one is even close. They work together. Maybe you are liking Geely from China and you work at BMW. You can have problem about out of that. Location services. You have location services turned on your smartphone that might track your movement and locations visited. And people do that. Oh, I arrived here. I'm now here. And you do all this on TikTok. You do all this kind of. And sometimes I even understand about. I've even gotten to understand that some others are able to even tell that at every 2 p.m. you come and post this thing that you are here. So that means that you are not at your house at that time. So that means that you are maybe at this particular activity. So we can go and rob you at your home. Sometimes people who are following you are people who are also trailing you to know when you are not available at a particular point at a particular place, so that they can do something that may harm you or may have access to some of your own valuables. Purchase history and items browse, product search for, even items left in the shopping cart, all form part of your breadcrumb trail. The kind of apps you use, the frequency of usage, and the in-app actions you take. Now, all businesses and advertisers use these breadcrumbs to build comprehensive profiles, often leading to targeted advertising and personalized content and tailored experiences. Now, we can enhance your user experience if you're able to pick all these breadcrumbs that you leave all over the place. But the question is that how much of yourself are you putting out there as you leave all these things? Okay, let's look at the case study. Consider Alice, a teenager. Oh, where is my friends to read them? Okay. So today who wants to do the reading? Last time it was Godfred. So let me see. Abigail, Amatefio, are you available? Oh, somebody has volunteered. Kofi, somebody, I think you raise your hand.
Yes.
Okay, Kofi can read for us.
Consider Alice, a teenager who's grown up with technology. While she actively posts on social media and uses various apps, she's also keenly aware of the digital breadcrumbs she leaves behind. When an advertisement eerily matches her recent conversations, she wonders if her smartphone is listening to her. This scenario encapsulates the modern dilemma: enjoying digital conveniences while being wary of privacy infringements.
Okay. And this, I think that's happened to a number of people. Sometimes you get surprised and say, why is Facebook following me? Or somebody watching me? Who told them about this? Okay. So let's look at the, can you read question 1 for us? Let's discuss it quickly. We'll solve one question. Then
in today's digital era, the boundary between convenience and privacy often blurs. Considering Alice's scenario, to what extent should users be willing to sacrifice their privacy for the benefits of personalized experience? And where should they draw the line?
Okay, who wants to go? Yes. Bintu Uncle, Elaine, Stephanie, Samuel, who wants to share? Richard, Jedu, Asante. To what extent should the user be willing to sacrifice their privacy for benefits? Yes. Please, if you have raised your hand, you can go ahead. Oh. Nobody has anything to share. Okay, then maybe I'll call up. So it's been today.
Please, can I?
Oh, we can go now. Now you can go ahead.
Thank you. So I think that as much as users also sometimes enjoy the personalized experiences that social media give us because of our personal securities in the future, there are certain information that we shouldn't willingly volunteer as we go along. So if there are ways that we could protect ourselves by trying to sort of delete whatever data trails that we leave behind, that may be that may compromise our security in the future. Probably we should look at options to clear such trails, so that, if not, we think that we are enjoying it today, but maybe in the future where we need to be protected, we've already given up so much. There's so much they know about us that it would be very difficult to hide or cover up anything again. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Very, very good answer. Apt and straight to the point. Okay. So if anybody doesn't have any other perspective, I think what she has, okay, Elizabeth, yeah.
I think to also protect some privacy in terms, when we look at the cookies, when we visit the website, I think there are sometimes where they ask you if you want to accept all cookies. I think we can also try to accept only the necessary cookies, unless we deem the website very, very necessary to use all the cookies.
All right. All right. Okay, Paulina, the last one. I'll take Paulina as the last one. Then we'll move on. I have 2 questions, but I'll give you the second question to go and do and bring to me next week. Your first assignment. Okay, Paulina.
Yeah, so I want to add that in terms of convenience, like the location, maybe if you want to take Uber or you want to use the GPS, you would want to put on your location. But in times when you don't need it, like if you are not using it for anything, I think it's advisable you turn it off so that you are not easily tracked.
That's a very good question. Do you realize that with time, especially where you live, the map on your phone then marks it and say that this is your house, and even puts your name by it. So the next time you are searching for something, it actually puts it as your home. And if you're not very careful, I don't know how much it's sharing. If it shares that information with other users, then somebody can sue Uber for this in future. Because actually, I remember when I used to use it a lot, they told me that Richard Watson's home. So I was wondering whether it's stored in their version of Google Maps and it's shared with others, so that when as an address, that somebody can actually also type Richard Watson to pull up my location. I don't know whether anybody has tried
Yes,
it.
It does actually.
Oh, then we are then please, class. Those who want to make some money, we can do some class action. That is really, 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 really breach of confidentiality. But we have to read their privacy rules, privacy. Next week, maybe I'll bring that of Uber's. Uber remind me. Then we'll read through the document and see where we can get them. If you are working Uber here, we are not coming after you. We are using that what we are learning to be able to analyze you. If we have to, if there's some money to be made from you, I'll put the class together, led by Nancy to come and see you. But it's a serious issue. If they are sharing it, then that's a big problem. Uptell, if you are sharing that information and others can see somebody's points that you has put there, then you go and do something about it. Before the class action, you are also added to it.
Yes.
We are not doing anything like that.
No, because you are not supposed to do it. For example, somebody has been buying something for maybe some lady be somewhere every time. Akosia's house. Now, maybe the full name then comes there, Akosia's house. Then some other people, somebody goes online and says, this is the person I know. And they start getting to know your house. You know, somebody can come after the person. It's a serious issue. It's a serious issue. That means that actually, if you know that someone lives in an area, you come in, you type in the person's name, you can be able to point out on Uber that this is where the person is. Hey. Anyway, some people put it there for the reason of sending information to people to come for their parties in their house. And now they didn't realize that they have exposed their thing to armed robbers too. So please be very careful. Yes. Okay, so this is what I want you to do as a take-home assignment, and we'll put it on. I don't know whether your Sakai has been set up yet, but otherwise you can do it and then we'll collect it maybe next week. Or I should give you 2 weeks. I'll give you 2 weeks. Or if I give you next, some of you say you are doing other assignments. So let me give you 2 weeks. Given the vast amount of data individuals like Alice unintentionally sharing online, how can users better educate themselves about potential use and misuse of their data by tech companies? The question we are even talking about right now. Furthermore, what responsibility should companies have in making users aware of how their data is being used, especially when it comes to indirect data collection methods? Next, we could be studying that of a very complex set of privacy rules that Samsung has, which cuts across their phones and their TVs and stuff. And we'll discuss it. I'll bring it to class for us to discuss. Very, very interesting. Okay. Okay, so let's go to the next one, digital footprint. So please remember, Nancy, the first assignment are going to question 2. Oh, I don't have the slide number on it. So I didn't put my slide numbers, but I'll do that later. Okay. The digital footprint of an individual is insignificant for various reasons. One, okay. Hey, I said digital footprint. I've talked about it and I went straight to. Okay. Digital footprints and then and data utilization. I'm not going to talk about. Okay. It's for the personalization, online reputation, and privacy concern. These are the 3 dimensions why it matters. But what is the data footprint? The data footprint is a unique trail of data that people create when they interact with in the internet using various platforms. The data crump is a data point. The footprint is when we put it together. That's why the question was about the footprint. So the first one was about crumbs. The second part of the question is about footprint. Active data, there's 2 types: active data footprint and then a passive one. The active one is deliberate, intentional data and content that is individual share online, like your social media posts, your liking, your emails you send, the website you visit, the website you created, the blogs you post, online comments, what you do on LinkedIn. All of them are your active digital footprint. You are the one who is putting them there. The passive digital footprint is the one that is created without your active participation and without you knowing. For example, your browsing history. Sometimes people don't even know that we keep it. The search history on the search engines, the location data tracked by mobile apps, online purchase history, the digital cookies left by website that track your online behavior like Amazon. So that is the digital footprint. Now, the difference between the two, the crumbs refer to the smaller, unintentional, inconspicuous pieces of data that the users leave behind when interacting those individual ones. For example, the individual data points, very subtle, granular, but you don't know. Those are the ones that come together to make up the path. For example, when you click on a product, the time you spend online, these are individual data points. We have not put them together. So it doesn't mean anything. Moving item in the cart and not purchasing, all of them are all what we call the crumb. But when we put them together, we start creating a particular sequence of actions. We can then build a profile about you that can tell us something about who you are. Now, when we talk about the print encompasses all those data points put together. The ones that you did it actively and the ones that you didn't do actively, but describe what you do online. So it's more like a record of your online presence. It's your certificate, like your online certificate of what you do. And it encompasses both intentional and unintentional traces left by online. And it tells us who you are, not just a trio, but your overall presence, by who you are. Social media profiles, uploaded pictures. Let me give you an example. So somebody called in the office that he was sick and was not coming to work. And later on, that same day, the person went to Kokobite for a swimming party or whatever party, beach party, which was a weekday big party. I don't even know why. I think it was part of some old school people getting together. And they took pictures of it and they put it online. The person uploaded it. So he went back the next week and went to work and he said, but you said that you were sick and you were not feeling well. That same day, we saw you posting online that you are at a beach party. Now, Does the employer have the right to go and look at your private online pages that you have on social media? You want to, when you ask for joining your page, you are the one who said yes. So you gave him the access to it. And when he accessed it as a human being, but he's also your boss. And now he has evidence to show that the day you said you were sick, you were actually at the beach chilling. So can he reprimand you? Yes or no? Because you have given him access to your page, and he's using that same information about what's your physical profile to be able to describe who you are. A digital footprint represent the holistic online presence and history of an individual, which can have implications for a personal reputation, privacy, and even security. I remember I was teaching this topic in a class with executive MBA students, and they were telling me a story of somebody who was going to get married from a particular family, and all that the family had to do was to, the gentleman was this young pastor who had graduated from a Bible school, and the lady was coming to marry him, and what they did was, the family members did was to just, or the guy, they Googled the lady, and they had a digital footprint of a lot of activities while she was in school, what she was active in on social media and stuff. And post the school, most of the activities have been quiet, they've been quite silent. But most of the things were there was what she was doing while she was on campus and stuff. And all of them were on social media pages. So the person, it actually affected the marriage didn't come that in the nutshell. That's what the students told me. But what happened was that they used the information about the lady in the past given by Facebook and whatever other platforms give, used to judge the person who maybe as of now, maybe, I don't know, maybe as of the time that he had met the guy after school, she was not that type of person while she was on campus. But that history had not been deleted. It was still online. In essence, while digital accounts may be seen as an individual step or data points in a sequence of online activities, the digital footprint is an overall path. So please let's just be careful of our digital footprints as we go around. Okay, balancing security with privacy. What should the balancing act? Which one matters? Security, efficiency, or privacy? Which of them do you want? This one I just want to ask people's mind before I start teaching. Okay. The internet never forgets. Thank you. Okay. Which one matters more? Security, efficiency, or privacy? This one, there's no right or wrong answer. I just want to know people's view. Abigail and Fumensa, which one? Okay, Mariam, go ahead, Mariam.
Say privacy for me.
Okay, privacy for you. Okay, yes, Abigail.
Efficiency for me, and then security will be next.
Efficiency for you. Okay. No, somebody is
Yeah,
able to
please,
say,
privacy for me.
most of you may be able to say efficiency and security because maybe you yourself, privacy, you don't even have anything about yourself online. So you are not afraid. There's nothing to make private. Some people are so much out of the internet that they don't have anything about you. Even get their email address online. But some of them, when you put their email address, let me just advise something. Be very careful what you use your email addresses for. You use the same email address for academics. You are using the same email address to open Facebook account. Use the same email address for your Twitter accounts and all accounts. Use the same email address for applying for jobs on Jobberman and all those other platforms. Please, somebody can just use that email address and build a profile about you. It's not advisable. Have another email address for all your online shenanigans, and then have another email address for your professional life. Otherwise, that email address may disgrace you one day. You may not know. I mean, it happened to me. I remember that was not even email. Mine was about my flatmate. I had a flatmate who was a Jamaican when I was in the University of Manchester. And this Jamaican lady, she likes to she had a self-esteem problem. So I think the doctor had told her that she should be taking pictures of herself. And she liked taking pictures of herself in bathing suits and stuff. And we posted it on her page. And sometimes taking with pictures that have, and she was learning to become a lawyer. So, or she was in school to become a lawyer. And So I picture these pictures at me at the spa at different places, and she'll put them online. And because of her work in doing things with the law, I was doing information systems and she was doing law. So we used to discuss a lot of things about law work and stuff. And I was also one of the person that was I was following her, or or she was following me, whichever one. We were in the same flat. We were following each other. I went to an international conference, and this lady had gone to Jamaica and had taken pictures, and he has sent the pictures as notification to all of us who follow her. So I was opening my Facebook page so that one of the professors that I admire so much would search for his page, his ID. That time Facebook was a big thing in the US, and then make me a friend. So I opened I just gave my tablet to him so I can do that. As soon as he was going to type, the new post from this person just came up, and it wasn't bad pictures, but it was interesting pictures. And the guy looked at me and said, "Oh, this is a friend, my flatmate and stuff." I said, "Oh, really?" Yes, okay. I said, "Yes." So I closed it, but and it was an awkward 3 seconds before we closed the page and we went to happy. And I asked myself that, "Oh, my friend has created a problem for me." All I'm just trying to point out is just be very careful. All the people you follow and you unfollow and stuff, just be careful how you use the same account. If I had a different account for professional stuff, I wouldn't have logged into my private one for this one, for this faculty member in the US to add me to his account or add me, link up us up together. Okay, security encapsulates privacy, but there's no privacy and efficiency without security. Okay, go for it. That's interesting. Okay. So now, striking the balance between data security and respecting user privacy is a paramount concern. It has been come up. One, our data collection. While collecting more data may provide insights and enhance security, it can also be seen as being invasive. So if you go for those who are going for efficiency and security, for us to be able to give you more efficiency and security, we will have to break your privacy. Do you understand what you are saying? So we will have to ask more information about you so that we can tailor more services to suit you. That will give you efficiency and convenience. And then we can also predict what you end up doing, so we can enhance the security measures that we should give to you. For example, if we know you are a president, we give you more security. So if we know more about you, we can then know what type of security we should tailor for you. Many online services ask for location data. While this might help in offering localized content services or services, it also means that your users are constantly being tracked. That's the issue. So in this case, because you want more services, better services, more services that are able to predict behavior or more relevant to you, we would have to collect more data and more frequently too. So we are invading your privacy. But when we start invading your privacy, that means that the onus is on us to also heighten our security and our efficiency in doing so. Otherwise, the challenge we'll have is that if we collect more information and our security has lapses, we are in trouble. So this is the advice. So it doesn't mean that that's what the companies will do. The more information you are picking from the employee or from the consumer, you have to increase your security level or enhance security so that it can be able, the information you are collecting can be protected. Storage. Retaining data can help companies understand your long-term trends and behaviors. But prolonged storage increases the risk of data breaches and privacy concerns. Somebody then has an knowledge that, oh, this particular health company has all this information about people's health behavior. Now that one becomes a kind of a bank of information that the company can even trade with to other companies and make money out of it. But if it is breached, it can lead to significant privacy violations. I remember I was doing some project with Ghana Statistical Service, and then we're hiring enumerators. But then whilst we're hiring enumerators, we actually gave a contract to somebody to develop a platform for us to enroll the enumerators. So they did an enrollment and their data was captured. Would you believe that? I don't know what happened at the back end of the person who developed the software, but somebody was able to hack the software and then dump the data of all those who applied on some internet page and started telling them that if you want to be shortlisted so that you can get into the census, send money to this number and things so that we can give you exclusive services and then become among those who are shortlisted. Now, the way the work was being done is that when you get shortlisted, we'll give you a tablet, we'll give you some money so that you'll be trained and that you work on the census for us. And then you collect the data, then we'll pay you via Momo. So this person went ahead and some people started paying. Now, when we were trying to track the person, then the person, the website that we go to the website said that they don't have the data. Somebody came to put it on the data and he doesn't have access to it. And so we told them to pull it down. When they pull it down, tomorrow morning, another one will come up again. Also, and because they had access, they were sending emails to the people and telling them to sign up and they are shortlisting. And then this is the list. If you go, so they'll send you to a link for you to see. So you see your name there. Oh, Charlie, you have been shortlisted. So we had actually come today, and to cut a long story short, it looked like the discrepancy that enabled somebody to get into our database happened at the end of the person who was developing the software. Now, is it that somebody hijacked the data there and gave to somebody? We can't tell. So what we had now to do was to try to prevent the data from being leaked anymore. And then try to bring a disclaimer on the page that we have not done selection and all kinds of stuff. But this data was already there. So later we had to get involve the police so that we can track. You know, the people were also a little bit greedy. We were putting some phone numbers there for people to be able to call, to be able to verify their name is in the list so that we can, and as soon as they start putting phone numbers there, then we know we can bring police to track them down. Okay. Data sharing. Sharing data between departments or with third-party vendors can optimize processes and provide better service. But you see, every data sharing channel becomes a potential point of vulnerability. The same thing is what I just mentioned. A popular navigation app sells and aggregated and anonymized data to urban planners to improve the city infrastructure. While the intent is positive, concerns arise about how anonymized the data it truly is, and if individuals can be re-identified. Okay, so let's watch this little video here, and I'll use that one to do the discussion that we are. Oh. Okay. Sorry, my PowerPoint went off. The PowerPoint is what went off, not the. Just give me a second. Okay. Oh, sorry. Okay, we'll soon be finishing. So. Okay. Sorry. This is what you want to watch. Oh. No, then I have to avoid that. I can let us watch it on YouTube. Don't worry. I think it is coming from the video from YouTube. Let me put a link in YouTube for us. Then we can use that one to watch it.
When you want to sort out your Mac once and for all, what do? Most tips from the internet didn't work. You tried emptying the bin, cleaning browser history, everything, but your Mac is still slow and your downloads are painful to look at.
in Australia.
Okay, my Zoom, let me share my. Okay. Please, can you see my YouTube now? Hello?
Yes.
Okay.
Can see it.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
A smart bin is being touted as a solution for all waste management and recovery issues that the country faces. The AI-powered smart bin is equipped to segregate recyclables all by itself. However, experts claiming that a smart bin like this may also help increase waste recovery rates in the country and help produce better quality recycled materials. That in turn will add significantly to Australia's GDP. Our next report telling you more.
Waste recovery and management isn't as straightforward as it may seem. For some, it's a confusing process, segregating trash in various categories as per the labels and the materials. Then there are those who just cannot be bothered. It all just ends up in the landfill anyway, right? Wrong. Waste recovery and management is serious business. And apart from the obvious positive impact on the environment, it is also an important cog in the wheel of a circular economy. A Sydney-based team has now introduced the prototype of a smart bin that can eliminate the stress of sorting through trash completely. This AI-powered smart bin can sort through the recyclables all by itself.
This machine, it can classify different wastes, including the glasses, metal cans, and plastics. And for the amazing part, it can recognize different types of plastics, including the PET and the HDPE. And after the classification, this machine can sort the different wastes like into different bins.
It's more than just a trash can. It has been touted as a machine that may also help encourage better waste disposal practices. It can result in higher quality recycled materials. In Australia, close to 40 million tons of waste is recycled each year. But with this invention, Australia's waste recovery rate could increase by 5%, which in turn can add significantly to its annual GDP.
The smart bin is so clever because it uses artificial intelligence, machine vision, and robotics to help figure out what you're actually throwing into it, whether it's glass or plastic or aluminium can. But it also has social science connected through the cloud to give you feedback to help you change your behavior so more waste goes into recycling and less goes into landfill.
As per the Commonwealth Scientific and Industrial Research Organization, only 10% of the 800,000 tons of plastic waste every year is actually recycled because they're not properly sorted. Even though there are still some kinks to be ironed out, very soon, smart bins may become commonplace in Australia. Bureau Report WION, World is One.
Okay.
WION now available.
Okay. Please, we're able to hear what we watched.
Yeah.
Good, good, good. So let's go back to our PowerPoint. Let me stop sharing and go back to PowerPoint. These smart bins things have been coming up a lot. There are types that actually can tell you that your bin is full and then send you a message, and also send a message to the collection point so that they come and pick your bin for you. But it has to do with a lot of sharing of data that may be privately related to you. So I'm asking a question here that with the increased integration of AI and technology in public services, such as waste management, what potential privacy or ethical concern might arise, and how should they be addressed to ensure trust and confidence of the citizens of Australia, or even if it is Ghana? Yeah, let me hear from you guys. Because smart bins can talk, they can send feedback, they can send data about you. For example, let me just give an example. The smart bins can be able to tell that this particular street generates this type of waste at this volume, at this rate, and then can even categorize which is the most dirty street or produce more waste or this type of waste, or may even have what type of waste is it they have. Maybe they have things to do with related to maybe alcohol or even to drugs or something like that, or there's a prevalence of this type of thing in from here. So with time, if you don't take care, if that information is available, somebody can say this street generates a lot of this type of waste, and it can even affect housing zonings and the real estates. If you don't, for the long term, I'm just talking about long term. But I'm asking a question here: what are some of the potential privacy and ethical concerns that could arise? Yes. Let me hear from you so that we can wrap up and go to data protection. Yep. Yes, Abigail.
Sir, please, can you say they stand the chance of having their residential addresses being, in case of a compromise, being leaked out because the bins need addresses to be like configured to help the trucks come pick up when it's full? So can you say that their location can be compromised?
But yes, that's if the information is identifiable. If it's captured in such a way that it's not identifiable, then even if it's compromised, somebody can use it for anything. But if it's tied in such a way that you can be able to know that this house produces this, then you are in trouble. So it's about how we collect the data and how we store the data. You have a good question there. Yes, any other viewpoint? Go for it. Today I've not heard from you.
So I'm here.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking that basically this AI generated beans is going to leak out information pertaining a given society or environment, leaking out information in the sense of what they consume and at what times and then all of that. So in case probably in my environment, we consume more of, let's say packed food, like let's say in a pack, then maybe that information might reach out there that, okay, then this particular environment, they normally like to resort to packed food as compared to food in polythene bags or food in paper bags or whatsoever. So then they can use that information to feed into that particular society or environment. Okay. So it can either be a good reason or a bad reason as well.
Okay. So how can we ensure trust and confidence? I think we have to be more transparent about the fact that the information that we are picking is anonymized. But we cannot hide the fact that we can be able to tell the waste production rate and type of waste that is produced by a particular street. We can tell because of the kind of smart information that we have. We can tell, but we shouldn't be able to make it easy for you to identify that who and who produces this type of waste. I don't know whether I understand what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, exactly.
You can be able to tell.
Easily linked to a particular consumer or user.
Good. So the identifiable information should be anonymized. Yeah.
Exactly.
And I think we should also publicly make available with wisdom what is relevant for us to know as a public in terms of what is happening in the area. For example, if you're able to tell us that, okay, in this area, plastics are highly disposed, or they do well, their type of waste has to do with more with paper. For example, let's imagine that you are at a place. I've seen this happening to a line of shops, like where you have a building that has a lot of shops in it. Most of the waste that's produced there is paper boxes that you remove, cartons from like Milo and all those kind of stuff. And you see they pack them, they even compile it to sell to people in Medina market and stuff. They come and pick it and go and sell. So if you are in such an environment, you can be able to tell that the amount of waste that will come out from paper, which is paper based, will be higher than even the one that you may get in from plastic because of the number of cartons that you open each day to be able to stock their shelves, because it's a shopping mall, it's a shopping market, a mini shopping market. So we'll be able to do something. The prediction is what I'm concerned about. I don't want to go and live in a road that they tell me that the type of waste that you see here has to do with human parts or human. You have issues concerning that, or the type of waste that comes here has to do with things that things that are not biodegradable. I'll be concerned about that. I want to know what type of waste is produced in my area, so that it gives me some concerns about whether I should live in that area or not. Yeah. Yes. Go for it.
Yeah. So yeah. So I was also saying that primarily data can be compromised in this situation, whereby let's say a place like US or maybe anywhere out there where they normally do shipping of items to their various homes,
Yeah.
and they have their addresses, etc. on it. In this particular situation, if there are no, let's say, legislation, contracts or whatsoever that handles personal data, because if I go and throw a box that has my address written on it in the bin, automatically somebody
I bought
who
a
is
new
working
TV.
at that particular,
Yeah.
exactly, they'll be able to use that data, and then like they'll know that, oh, maybe Jennifer bought this TV
It's
or
true.
this at that particular point in time. And so we need some measures in
But
there as well to
you
be
know
able
that
to
even
handle it.
in Ghana, when you come and put the box outside in front of your house and you come to pick it, you have actually told that you have bought a new TV.
Yeah, yeah.
What you're saying is
Everyone will know.
we don't even realize that we are even doing it without even having the smart bins. We are doing that thing right now, giving the information out. It's interesting, very, very important. Okay, that means
Yeah,
that
but these smart bins, they won't work in Ghana. Or the way we do
oh,
ours, we touch this quality bag, it has a little bit of this, a little bit of that. All type in one quality.
no, this type may not work, but currently Zoom Lion and one of my my faculty friends in Kenya are working on doing such a thing for the smart bin that will just be able to track the bins and then pick them up on the streets, so that it can be able to tell, okay, this bin is full, this is the quantity of refuse in it, it has to be picked up, and it's at this location, so they can use a mapping system to be able to pick it up. So that's more about location, and then how much waste is being produced and how to be picked up. So to be able to make Zoom Lion more efficient. So you have gotten some grant from them. They did a demo of it, and they said they should come and they gave us some grant to build it to suit their processes. So we are at the beginning stage, but what they are doing, I don't think they have added the smart part where it can sort out the stuff. No. If anything sorting out, it has to be physical sorting out. You have to put the plastic in plastic and then this and that one yourself. Okay. Thank you. Very, very good points here. So data protection and citizen. Nations have what we call data protection policies or regulations. Now, usually these are a set of rules or guidelines and standards set by a nation to regulate the collection of processing, storage, and sharing of personal data of its citizens. Now, let me point out that there are differences between guidelines and standards, and I think I will have to talk about that maybe somewhere next week. I don't want to jump into that now. Guidelines are not mandatory. They are recommended. Standards could be mandatory. That you have to meet those standards. So guidelines are not mandatory, recommended. Okay, rules are legally legitimate to be done. So that one just you have to look at the differences in that respect. Okay, so as data breaches, privacy concern and data transformation become more prevalent, the importance of having national protection framework cannot be overstated. Okay, so it protects the individual rights. It also puts trust in the digital economy. For example, we know that when you are buying something online, it's safe in Ghana because there's a legality for electronic transaction, legality for electronic signature. Yeah. And then there's also protection of what information that you are sharing online or what is being collected from you. Okay. And then it's also very good because it also establishes a framework of how the businesses that we transact with are using our data. So if you don't have it, the business can treat our data anyhow, and then they can sell it. Like Facebook sold data for political reasons, and which influence was used for political advertising. It also avoids economic repercussions. Data breaches can lead to significant economic consequences for both individuals through the identity theft or fraud, or for online businesses when they lose reputation or lose the customer trust. So these policies are safeguards for both the employer and the employee, and even the citizen. In the same way, these national policies also facilitate international trade. Companies and nations and other international bodies or multinationals more confident in working in an environment in which there's some policy to guide the way data is being used or data is being captured. Okay. Then it can also inform innovation and research, creates an environment for accountability and enforcement. And national policy typically establish an authority like the Data Commission for overseeing the data protection. So that means that there's enforcement for it to make sure that our data is safe. And then it also upholds democratic values, meaning that we are able to respect the rights, the privacy rights of citizens or individuals. Okay, and we enforce that right to be enacted so that we all respect those rights, whether you're a company or also a fellow citizen. Okay, so there are different types of policies. We will look at the Ghana Protection Act for now in a brief. Okay, so the Protection Act is called Act 843. Which I think was established in 2012, set out the rules and principles for governing the collection, use, and disclosure and care for your personal data. It recognizes that you have the right to protect your personal data, and you can give that right by mandating a data controller or processor to process, that's collect, use, disclose, erase such personal data or information in accordance with individual rights. The Act also established the Data Protection Commission as an independent statutory body to enforce compliance. And that's why you saw them arresting somebody that time. The Act was assented in May 2012, and then it came into force in accordance with Section 99 of Act 843 on 16th October 2012. The registration of the data controllers and processors, those who can use it, started 3 years after it was set up. Now, the primary goal is to protect the privacy of an individual and personal data by regulating the personal information, the processing of the personal information, not the personal information itself, but the processing of it. It seeks to establish a balance between the rights of the individuals and the need for organizations to collect and use personal data for businesses and other purposes. Okay. It applies to every individual entity that is engaged in data in any form, processing, collecting, or when you say processing, means that you are collecting, you are storing, you are using anybody's personal data, whether it's public or private entities. It also addresses the data processed outside Ghana if the controller is based in Ghana or they use equipment in Ghana for processing. Okay, so that's very good. Now, the Act has a number of issues in it. And what's key to us is the principles. So I've got accountability, lawfulness of processing, specification of purpose. Remember what I mentioned, that it should fit the purpose, compatibility to further processing with the purpose of collection, so that even if we process the data further, it should still fit the purpose of why we collected it, quality of the information, openness, data security safeguards, and data subject participation. So, for example, in the processing of personal data, I'm just picking parts of it because of time. Oh, Paulina, your hand is up, so please ask your question.
Okay, I don't know whether I'm jumping the gun, but I wanted to do the international policy on data and the Ghana one, the Act 84. Which one supersedes the other when there is an issue that involves an international? Which one?
Yeah, that's the question I should have asked. That's the question I should have asked you. But it's all about the location, jurisdiction. Remember that he said that it covers data, address data processed outside of Ghana if the controller is based in Ghana and uses equipment in Ghana. But let me point something to you. So I have a case study that I worked on with a company called RX Pharma. They work on health insurance platforms. And it's actually one of the co-founders, one of my PhD students. And one of the case studies that we're looking at was in Angola. The Angola health system as a country adopted their insurance platform to be able to create some health insurance platform in there. But in doing that, the health insurance companies that work, some of the health agencies that work in Angola are US companies. The US has a number of different, they have a health policy act called HIPAA or something like that. And they have different ones. Would you believe that in collecting of people's personal data, health data, they were not abiding to the rules of Angola or Ghana. They were abiding to the one of the US. Since the company that was going to sponsor that one and what they are going to use it for, even though it is in Angola is a US company. So you see how it's quite interesting. So that sometimes where who has jurisdiction is it's a political issue. The guy who has the money and determines how the data will be used and will end up maybe monetizing the data and using it for, and commissioning the job for us to do is the one who will determine what you want to respond to. The US government, because he is sanctioned by the US government and we looked at and would be monitored by the US government, his external pushes even have to be consistent with the policy that is defined by the US government. I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. And that one was a more stringent way of handling health data than the ones that we even have in Ghana. So it is even easier for us. And he said, and that's about when you're dealing with the nation itself, didn't the country say the country even didn't give them any, didn't tell them so far they registered their company, that was all. But when they started working on it, when they started working on what they had to do, is when they realized that they had to respond to it. It's called Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act of 1996, HIPAA, yes. It's a federal law that requires the creation of national standards to protect sensitive patient health information from being disclosed without the patient's consent and knowledge. And it's a US Act of Congress enacted in 1996. So whilst they had to respond to make sure that whatever they are doing is consistent with the HIPAA or HIPAA, if you whichever way you want to say. But they were working in Angola, nothing about Ghana. Angola themselves didn't have anything. The US company that were doing the consultancy with who will actually implement whatever they want to implement there, they are just a software company. So they had to adhere to that US company that they were working with. Please, do you understand me now?
Yes, please.
Okay. A person who processes personal data shall ensure that the personal data is processed without infringing on privacy rights of the data subject in a lawful manner, and it's also processed in a lawful manner and a reasonable manner. A data controller or processor shall, in respect of foreign data subjects, ensure that the personal data is processed in compliance with the data protection legislation or the foreign jurisdiction of the subject. You see the statement I just mentioned. You see that Ghana, even our own law says that we should respect that of the foreign data subjects. So it's not surprising that they had to adhere. You see that even here kind of stipulates that the company I'm talking about should actually listen to what the foreign partner is saying that you should do. Do you realize what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Where the personal data originating from that jurisdiction is sent to this country for processing. So even when they send the thing here to come and process, we have to usually adhere to where it is coming from. That's interesting. It's coming from the act itself, little. Okay, I'll open it for us to discuss. I just put a few points here, but I'll go to the website and we can look at it, then we can wrap up with that one. Minimality. So lawfulness of processing. Minimality. Personal data may only be processed if the purpose for which it's processed is necessary, relevant, and not excessive. Like somebody let you answer 30 pages of question. When he knows that all those information might not be relevant to what he's asking for the purpose for which he's asking for the data for. Consent and justification also under lawfulness and processing. Lawfulness and processing has about 4 or 5 different sub clauses. A person shall not process a personal data without prior consent of the data subject, unless the purpose for which the personal data is processed is necessary for the purpose of contract authorized by the or required by law to protect a legitimate interest of the data subject, necessary for proper performance of statutory duty like police or legal issues, necessary to pursue legitimate interest of the data controller or the third party whom the data is supplied. Okay, so you have to be very, very careful with that. Then there's even a special provisions for data collected on for a special set of clientele, like children. There's all within the policy, they have got provisions for that. If you're collecting data on children, unless otherwise provided by law, data subject may object to the processing of personal data. Yeah. Where a data subject objects to the processing of personal data, the person who processes the personal data shall stop processing, so the processor of the personal data of the person who said it should stop. Okay. So in the summary of it, it covers a number of things. We have issues on integrity and accuracy of the data, consent and legality. May not be stated the same way, but they have got key things that key headings that respond to this issue. That's why I'm saying this is a summary. Okay, the Act mandates that data should be accurate and when necessary kept up to date. Controllers and processors must implement appropriate technical and organizational measures to ensure security and confidentiality of personal data. Individuals have the right to access their data and correct it. So there's even provisions for correcting data is in there. And there are also provisions for right of access of the data and under certain conditions object to the processing of their data. Okay. Data controllers and processors need to register with the Data Protection Commission, a body established by the Act to oversee its implementation. For the Data Protection Commission, the Commission's focus is to protect the privacy of the individual, being me as a Ghanaian and you as a Ghanaian, and personal data, and the processing of that personal information. Process and obtain or use or disclose personal information. Provide the process to obtain, hold, use, and disclose personal information. So the Data Commission is also gives the direction how we can process the data, how we can obtain the data, hold the data, use and disclose the personal information. And it also has penalties, which in accordance to you breaching the law. I think I've heard about it before. The commission has this type of structure: a chairperson, one representative from the NCA, from the Commission of Human Rights and Administrative Justice, with not below the rank of a deputy commissioner. Okay. And then the National NITA, the National Information Technology Agency, Ministry of Communication, Bank of Ghana, not below the governor. Oh, interesting. And Statistical Service, not below the rank of a director. So the Data Protection Commission board is really a solid board. Wow. And then one representative elected by Industry Forum. Okay. The president can nominate 2 persons to be on the board. So one of the good things is that I think you mentioned that in terms of the global orientation of our policy, it has to align with some of the global standards. So that's some of the things that we'll talk about next week. And then it's also relevant for boosting data and economy. And I think you have realized that people are now feel safe and think that they can trust what data transaction, because now there's a data protection and that is protecting the type of data you share online. So the act acts as a layer to protect us concerning this type of risk. So when you go online, there is a data protection website. And then the website, let me see where I can. Quickly share that one, then we can wrap up. Okay. Okay. So this is the website, Data Protection Commission. So you can read more about the act here, and you can download the PDF from here. So the dimensions, the principles are here, and they have explanations for each of the principles coming from Act 7 and Act Clause 17 going the Section 17, sorry, going on. So 18 is about processing of personal data. 19, 20, and 21 is all about lawfulness of processing. Okay, so specification of purpose is also here, quality of the information, openness, and then as you go on, data subject participation, and then these are the principles that are there. But if you look into the policy itself, let me see if I can. Oh, I thought I had. When looking into the policy itself, I thought I had it print somewhere here. Oh, okay. I'm coming. Okay, good. I have it here. When you look at policy itself, you have different sections like processing of special personal data. Processing of special personal data prohibited. Exemption related to religious or philosophical beliefs of data subjects. So that one has to do with the children, a child's information. So if you go into it, you would be able to find out more about that. Yeah, more about that. And it's important that you look, when you go through, you see, unless otherwise, as provided with the act, a person shall not process personal data which leads to a child. I don't know whether who is under parental control in accordance with the law. So I think Facebook had such a thing like this was I think the US. And Facebook had an issue where they realized that children below 15 years old were registering online. So I think they put in a rule that you cannot open an account. I think Facebook or Twitter, one of them, you can't open an account if you are below a particular age. The religious or philosophical beliefs, ethnic origin, trade. Haftel, Godfred, what age are you allowed to open an account on your Haftel?
We don't really monitor the age limit as at yet. We don't. Once you're able to download
No. You are in trouble. You are not going according to the act because you are not putting in measures to prevent children from signing up. So
I'll try and look at that.
Do it before they come and check your adherence to these principles, and then you find yourself wanting, because you have to actively prevent access, like when you are registering, as you put in your age, and you put in an age that is that means that the day on which you are signing up, on the day that you said you are born, you put in the date of birth. The system can calculate and realize that you are less than 15 years old, something like that. It should prevent you from signing up. So if the person lies and gives a different age, then it means that at the end of the day, it's the person who has done it on his own. It's not you. But you should be seen as being active in preventing that from occurring.
audited, sir.
And any other company here that has a platform that people register, make sure that you are actively preventing children from signing up and giving information to you. Even if it's a video game or whatever it is, make sure. Some of the things, if you're not picking their data, then it's okay. But as long as they're creating accounts, you have to do that. Or you can, like Google that, go and get your father, parent, your dad to come and fill here for you. And then you are forced to go, and you can continue. Okay. Okay, so let me wrap up here. So I wanted to show you this one, that there are quite interesting sections of this. We'll look at it next week as in comparing with other data for other organizations. Right to prevent processing of personal data for direct marketing. A data controller shall not provide or use or obtain or procure and provide information related to the data subject for purposes of direct marketing without prior consent. You realize that we have been having this issue that somebody, you go to a place, they pick your phone number, then you are getting text messages about there's a product here, will you want to buy it? And you see whether is it the telcos who are selling your information, or the hairdresser you want to use give you information or your data to somebody to be sending you anonymous SMS messages. But it has been going on. Somebody told me that they also automatically generate the numbers, knowing that our numbers do not follow some any sequential, any intelligent way of numbering. They just know that so far this guy's number ends in 5, that will be 9. And they randomly just send the numbers, the information to you. I don't know how true it is, but that's what I just talk about it. Says then right in relation to automated decision making. That one is an issue. Rights in relation to exempt manual data. So there's quite a lot of dimensions that they put there. Compensation for failure to comply. Okay. Rectification and blocking erasure. Is it erasure? Okay. And destruction of personal data. Okay, and then the data commission is satisfied where the data commission is satisfied on a complaint of data subject of that complaint of a data subject that personal data on that subject is inaccurate. The commission may order the data controller to rectify, okay, erase, okay, block and destroy the data. Okay. Application of the act, and then establishment of the data protection register. Okay. Application for registration, how you register, and you have right to refuse your registration. But I think the onus is for everybody that is collecting data and processing it in any form, like even including universities and schools, to apply. And soon I think may even refer to your crèche, primary schools, crèches and all those things that have to apply. Okay, thank you very, very much. Thank you very, very much. There is also another website, as somebody has asked there, that summarizes and then discusses in terms of reviewing it. So this page, they have done a very good review and they point out some of the things in it. So you may also want to read this particular one. Let me just send the link to you. Okay. It's a very good platform. I'm sharing it here so you can just put it out there. Yeah. I've reviewed the policy itself, and they give some of the issues that they have, some of the views that they have for it. I think it was written by a law office, Roman Kujo law offices. Okay, thank you very, very much. Okay, so also I come to the end of the class, and I don't know what you have. You have any questions, anything to say? Obed, is there any hand?
No.